Guess this is it. This is the live stream. I don't live stream very often, but I'd like to. So the title of the live stream was "Foreigners in Filipinas," right? So what's great about it? What's not so great about it? What's it's madness. So the reason why this sort of came up was because recently I've been talking to a couple guys, channel members and stuff. Guys come into Manila. They're on these dating sites, especially like the swipe sites. Like sometimes I feature those on the channel, um, like the Tinder, who's on Tinder, and who's on the other sites. And and I've been listening to them talk about the girls they meet, or they meet a girl in a club, and like especially like a club like Royal. Like my buddy was in there last weekend, and there was a nice girl, and she seemed nice, and she was like kind of all over him, and they ended up leaving together. And he must have asked her. He said he must have asked her 4 times. And this guy, he's from Jersey. He's real straightforward. Yeah, he's no like beating around the bush. He's like, look, are you a freelancer? Are you working? Are you going to try to ask me for money? Because if you are, I am not interested. Gets to go back to his room, and the first thing she says is, well, I'm not for free. And then he's like, you know what? You need to leave now. And then she's like, sob story, like the big sob story. Oh, my family, my mom's in the hospital, whatever, whatever, whatever. He's like, fine. I'll let you wait for your taxi ride before I throw you out. Like, I would have had no compassion for that either. Let's see. Steven Scamper, good day. Jake Beg. Hola. And okay, Billy in Pattaya, you're looking for a change. Want to go to Cebu? Most girls are freelancers here. Is it the same there? How can you find a normal girl, not a freelancer? Okay, great question. I talk about that sometimes in videos, but I talk about that a little more in depth today. What I noticed in Thailand when I went with my bro the first time, because he was kind of a little bit more of a I don't know, a a free agent than I was, and he tried to meet a lot of girls, and I had a contact there that kind of took us around and introduced us to lots of places. And I would say 9 out of 10 girls that we met in Thailand were all pay to play. And then I talked to a guy who I know from the Philippines who was also there in Thailand at the time. And he's like, I was in Pattaya, and like, I'd meet these girls on the beach, and then we'd like hang out on the beach all day. And then they were working in the spots at night, and we would hang out, and we would drink and have fun and like really connect. And they were totally into me. But when it came time to seal the deal, they're all just like, 3,000 baht. Like, they just don't go with foreigners unless they get paid. So it is not like that here. There are a lot of freelancers, and there are a lot of players, and there are a lot of fucking liars. I would say the biggest thing you're going to deal with is the fact that you could have a Filipino girlfriend. She could be your good girlfriend. She could be solid. She could be with you always, but she's probably still got someone that she's playing on the side. Um, like unless you're literally, unless she's a professional, unless she makes her own money or she comes from a good family, and there are Filipinas like that. This is a girl that is going to be dependent on you, and you're going to either have to deal with that or deal with her, having other foreigner boyfriends. Those are boyfriends on the side. Those are boyfriends online. It's more of the sob story shit. Oh, my life is so hard. Can you send me some money? I don't have a load. Whatever it is. Like, and over the years, like I've seen it. Like, I've seen it. So like, it's become like more of a cultural thing now, and it's kind of disturbing. Like, it's almost like they're taking on the Thailand mentality, where it's just like, well, you're a foreigner, so you have money, so you have to give me money. And like I said, like when I was swiping on those dating sites to make those videos and stuff, like girls would message me all the time, and they'd just be like, I'm for fun. And I'd be like, okay. What does that mean? You want to go party and drink and dance? You like playing Yahtzee? Like, they're like, no, pay me. And I'm like, okay, so let's get this straight. We speak in 2 to 3 word sentences, and you want fun and you want to get paid for fun. So it's just ridiculous. And like even when we go out, like we'll be out in the club, and I'll be like partying and dancing with some girl and stuff, and she'll be like, um, Is that your girlfriend? Yeah, that's my girlfriend. Why don't you come over and meet her? And she'll be like, okay, but I'll go with you, but I'm not for free. Like it's like it's becoming annoying, actually. So how do you meet? Let's see, how do you meet?
It's Mr. Camper Stephen and Lee A. Robinson.
Where's a good place to go out and have fun and like partying? Poblacion Makati. There's 100 places right in Poblacion Makati. I got at least 5 videos up, that are all about like my top spots in Poblacion. Check out my insane 4-day weekend video. Check out my the best P Burgos bar hopping guide. I can even put those links in the thing here. Yeah, the family can be a problem. So the reason why Nikki D is joining us tonight is because, well, she looks better than me, and she can give you some insight into the
Yeah.
culture and courting, right? So, like courtship of a Filipina. How do you find a sweet Filipina who doesn't have a family as a problem? Because a lot of these families are literally like parasites that drain the breadwinner. Like, they get one child in the family and they pay for that one to go to college if they can, and then they literally make that child, pay for the family for the rest of their life. It, it's it's not like that with all Filipinos, but it's with them a lot. So let's see. Family can be a problem. They demand pasalubong. I don't know pasalubong. Oh,
Pasalubong is like
pasalubong. A
it's a
pasalubong.
gift.
Yeah, pasalubong is part of the culture, though. That's what that translates into essentially is.
More most of the time it's yeah, you could say it demand, but sometimes they just make it as a joke because in family we used to
Yeah,
say that.
I I I I have a lot of even my coworkers used to tell me that they're like, "Oh, you're going back to the U.S. Bring me pasalubong," and it's like, well, there's like 200 of you guys. Come on. So like pasalubong means that which you bring for those who wait for your return, which is kind of a nice concept, and culturally that's what it was and that's what it is. So you come home, you bring, and usually pasalubong is like food or something. You bring a
uh,
delicacy.
or or a like for example there's a like design or collections
Oh, right.
like alcohol or
Yeah,
chocolate.
something from that country, something that you like wouldn't normally get in the Philippines is sort of the pasalubong. Or if you're in the Philippines and you're in like a remote island and they make buko pies or something, then you bring back
Yeah,
a buko pie. It's like uh
or like in Boracay, so there's a keychain like that has name Boracay.
yeah. So Cebu IT Park, that is Lahog area.
Ah,
And the Lahog area, in my opinion, is probably the best spot to stay in if you're going to be in that Cebu area. There are a lot of call center girls there. There is that IT park has like a couple of nice like bar restaurant kind of places. It seemed pretty lively. I mean, I wasn't there for long, but the Airbnbs were really nice there, really cheap. Um, Tinder was good, but this was years ago. This was before lockdown, so everything was good before lockdown in the Philippines. Um, yeah, 20 jars of Vegemite. Uh, God, you should see this video. I gotta post it. I posted on my IG the other day. This dude, he brought 17 ballot buy-in boxes of like rare whiskeys to the Philippines, and his one-bedroom condo is literally floor to ceiling with booze. Like I have never seen so much booze outside of a liquor store or bar in my life, and it was impressive. He got us a nice bottle. Yeah, we should do a shot. We were drinking last night, so I don't think we'll be doing shots tonight. Yeah, he's got the past Lubang thing covered. So how do you meet the nice girl? Like, believe it or not, I met Nikki in a bookstore. So in Market in the Ayala Mall. So I have another buddy here that, and what he does is he actually goes to the malls to look for college girls. And I know that sounds like predatorial as hell, and it's not like that. Trust me, he's a great guy. He really takes care of the girls. Like he just likes to meet young, pretty girls. That's his thing. And he doesn't want to meet them on Tinder or Tantan or whatever apps we're swiping on because he knows that half of them are in the game already. Half of them have an older sister or a best friend or whatever who got corrupted, and that's what happens. These girls get freaking corrupted, and someone's like, "No, you should like." When Nikki and I first met, like we had it good. We were living in Uptown. Everything was great. We didn't really have a lot of friends here. Hey, Oliver, how you doing, man? Nice to see you.
Hi, Ollie.
I was gonna say, was it just last night we were partying? Oh my god, we had another blowout night last night, man. Uh, so and then we started hanging with. She was working at the time in like this restaurant, and a lot of foreigners would go in there, and what would happen is they would hit on her, and all the other waitresses, and I just used to tell her like, don't tell them you have a boyfriend. Don't play the game, right? You're working for tips. Like these guys, gonna get drunk and leave you like a 500 peso tip. So that was kind of what she did, and then the guys would be like, let's connect on IG. And then like the guys are connecting with her IG, and then she's like chatting with these guys on IG, and then they're like, I'm gonna come into the restaurant tonight. I'm gonna bring some of my buddies. Maybe the waitresses will want to come out with us after work and stuff. So eventually, like because it was BG so small and everybody kind of knew each other, I was in there one night, and then like we were chatting, and I was chatting with the guy that was trying to chat her up, and like eventually I'm like, yeah, she's my girlfriend, and he's like, oh, well, she told me she didn't have a girl, you didn't have a boyfriend. I think she's playing you, and I'm like, well, I told her to tell you that because she's working for tips, and you know, I'm like, why do you think she's playing you? And he's like, well, I'm chatting with her. I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. Like, I'm like, you don't think I'm looking at her social media? You don't think I know who she's chatting with? Um, and that's the other thing. Like, it's got to just be like, I don't want to say a control thing, but like, if you're going to if you're going to take on the care of somebody and you're going to become exclusive for somebody, so I'm going to focus on you exclusively, right? I'm not going to pay attention to other girls. I'm not going to try to court other girls. I'm not going to support other girls. You're the one that has my exclusivity, my loyalty, my support. Then you're going to have to do some things for me. And I'm not saying like, jump through hoops wearing, thongs and pasties. I mean, like, I need to know where you're at. I need to see your phone. I need to track your phone when you're not with me. Not because I'm super fucking paranoid, which sometimes I am, because I don't want to let her out of my sight half the time. She's gorgeous. And the guys like swarm on her. Even when I'm in the bar, like guys are all over her. And I have to go over. I'm like, dude, come on, back off. Like, you know, I think like one night, man, I told the story one time. Like I think she got roofied in a club. Like, and if I hadn't walked into that club, like at the time I did, like she would have been out cold on the floor, and like who knows what would have happened. I had to literally carry her home that night, and after that night, I was just like, you know what? I need to know exactly where you are, and if you're not answering your text, then I need to be able to track your phone down the location. So I set up an app that lets me track her phone, and I know exactly what she's doing all the time. And you may call me paranoid and you may call me controlling, but you can also call me caring because it's my responsibility to care for her, and I need certain liberties in order to do that properly. Because quite honestly, she can't constantly manage it herself, especially if she has too much to drink. Not that she's a lush or a drunk or anything like that, but we get pretty fucked up when we go out. And when she goes out with her girls, which we don't really do any, I mean, we all go out together, but she doesn't go out with them alone anymore for the very simple reason that the last couple times it happened was once time that she got roofied. The other time, uh, she was just so smashed. She was sick for like 3 days, and then there was another time where they all went out, and like some of the other foreigner guys that were with the girls. I go into the club, and I see her passed out in the corner, and this guy's got his hand on her leg. I was gonna rip his fucking hand off. Like I was just like, dude, I'm like, you need to just leave now. You just need to leave the club now. You leave, or I'm gonna have you thrown out. Like you're lucky. You're lucky you're not lying in a puddle of fucking blood right now. Like it's just like these guys can be predators. Pass Lubang Century souvenir from the place you went to. I remember everybody wanted T-shirts from America. Yeah.
It ain't
No, shirts
cheap.
in America ain't cheap at all. Nothing's cheap in America anymore. A couple of minutes behind in the video. Pasalubong is donuts. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like they want donuts, they want buko
Buko
pies, they
pie,
want all that stuff, you know.
bibingka.
Um so it's like navigating, tough waters. Like I wouldn't go back to the States. I would never have a girlfriend like Nikki in the States. Like I'm older than her, a lot older than her. She's she's been a handful, don't get me wrong. Like we have our ups and downs, but for the most part I am really happy with her. I think she's
Oh,
I think she's beautiful, even with no makeup.
bolero.
She's got the most banging body. You should check out some of her bikini shoots on my channel. And we got more of those coming up. Uh, it's been trials and tribulation. I've been in the Philippines 8 years. I've had three pretty serious relationships in that time. Actually, that kind of spans over 12 years, but this one has been the longest. We've been together 4 years now, so things are going well. As long as we kind of keep focused. Um, and it's weird too. Like I know other guys here like that have beautiful girlfriends, like stunning, like supermodel girlfriends, and after a couple of years, they're just like, like I like being with you. We're companions. We hang. We chill. But like they just don't feel the passion anymore. Like they're almost just like, you know what? We don't need to have sex. Like, and then they get super excited to have sex with other women.
It's okay, baby.
Um, and I don't get that. Like that's just not me. Like she just lights my fire every day, like 3 times a day. Like I'm at the point now where she's like, dude, really again? I'm like, yeah, I can't help it. And I don't know if that's a health thing. I don't know if that's a wellness, like
Oh,
oh, she got boobies. I don't know if that's because I've been really managing like my health much better. My diet, my supplementation with arginine, and just getting enough sunshine and good living. Except for the weekends, like that is literally the only time of the week that I am poisoning myself. And when I was in the U.S.,
weekend is hell.
yeah, weekends are hell. When I was in the U.S., I felt like I was poisoning myself all the time. I felt like life in general was designed to poison you, like pharmaceutical companies, and then the drug manufacturers, and then the chemical manufacturers. And there's 180 chemicals that they put into American processed foods that aren't allowed in other countries like Europe, and the entire Europe, China, Japan just banned U.S. breakfast cereals because they're filled with poison. And the reason they're filled with poison is because that's what keeps them on the shelf longer. Longer shelf life, better profits, right? You've got these huge mega corporations that are lobbying for their products to be on the shelves. The government turns a blind eye because they're getting paid off, and then people get sick, and then people get sick, and then they go to the doctor, and that fuels the insurance company, and then the insurance fuels the pharmaceutical company. The doctor doesn't cure you. The doctor's job is to treat your symptoms and keep you sick, so you keep coming back for more. A healthy patient doesn't go to the doctor. The two biggest businesses in the history of the world have been war and medicine. I mean, really, like that's what
Coffee?
people spend money. Well, coffee trade,
No,
something.
coffee.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say when she wears a shirt, I always feel like I want milk.
Coffee, but I don't
Coffee
drink
with
coffee.
cream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wet
Speaking
cream.
of which, I probably shouldn't bring that up on this live. Yeah. In a couple of minutes, let me just check on these comments here, guys. Oh, by the way, thanks for joining the live stream. I can't even tell. Oh, I guess I can see there's people that are watching. I'm just rapping. So Filipinos and foreigners. Why Filipinas? Well, I want to talk about like woke ass America and it going downhill, and they say toxic masculinity, of which there is no such thing, at least in the light that they're painting it. That was a term that was developed by guys that were
Thumbs up.
doing. Oh, thank you. Guys that were doing prison. They were doing research in prisons on ultra aggressive inmate behavior, and that's the term was used clinically in this guy's research study. And then the woke mob got a hold of it, and then they turned it into this social media thing. We're like, oh, controlling men are toxic. I'm a controlling toxic man because I care for my girlfriend and I track her phone and I make sure I know where she's going and that she's cared for and that there's no problem. So I'm a controlling pig, right? However, really, hey, what's up, Ernest? Man, join the stream there. We were just talking about
Yung pasalubong.
what are the pasalubongs bonds, the ballot buy-in boxes. Uh, I think it's toxic femininity. That's what I think. There that you get these men, and that for decades and decades and generations, men were strong. Men got up. Men worked. Men sucked it up. Like men didn't cry and didn't complain and didn't like have temper tantrum fits at the stock room at Starbucks because they had to work an 8-hour shift. They weren't these little dopamine, addicted swipes. How many likes did I get? Kind of boys. They were men that went out and kicked ass and took care of their families. And you'll find the statistics like the most horrendous things that are happening in the world now: the child trafficking, child porn, and these groomers, these fucking groomers, the toxic shit that's going on there. Like, they say that they target children that don't have strong father figures in the house. So they either target children with no father figure or target children with weak father figures, and that's how they do it. They find a strong man around um, a child, and they don't target those kids for grooming. So toxic masculinity is just masculinity. That's it. You're just a man. You look out for your woman. You take care of your business, and you keep fit. Like part of that is being strong, and being strong is not easy. You don't wake up in the morning and roll out of bed buff. It just doesn't happen. You got to drop and do sets, or whatever it is you do. Run, swim, bike. Uh, I think Nikki's in the chat now, teasing you, Ernest. How easy to get health supplements in the fills? They actually have something here that's essentially a GNC here. It used to be GNC, now they call it LAC, I think, or LA. I don't know what it is. That's where I get my protein powder. There's another shop or two. There's three main chains, and one of them actually sells some pretty decent vegan protein or plant-based proteins. They're expensive as hell. Plant-based proteins are expensive. Here,
Hi, JS.
the other supplements. I mean, how good is GNC? Really, it's not that great. I mean, do you really know that when you buy 500 milligrams of arginine tablets, it's probably the same in the states. It's just unless you're getting somebody to make you pharmaceutical grade supplements, you're basically buying bulk whatever. Unless you really know that company has whatever their practices are that guarantee their protein powders or the supplements or the vitamins to be quality. You could have one tablet's 50% filler and binder, and another tablet. The mixing process isn't always good with supplements.
Our plant mall and BGC has some great health food stores. Same pricing you'd see in the US.
Yeah, you can get it. The only things that I supplement are protein powder and arginine. I don't take any vitamins at all. I don't take. Sometimes I take a little magnesium. I take a little zinc, and I get a lot of sodium. I got a video coming up that talks about how I've been putting sea salt in water because I've been reading a lot about how you drink a gallon of water and your bloodstream could be saturated with water, but unless that fluid gets into your tissues, you won't be hydrated. And part of the hydration is having these essential minerals in there, right? You don't want to be drinking Gatorade, so you take a little magnesium, zinc, and sodium, and you mix it in your water. And we drink a lot of that, and I think that helps me a lot. When it comes to vitamins, I'd rather get it all from foods. There's almost no GMO foods here. Wait,
Hold on.
I think she's naked. Uh, there's no GMO foods here, or if there are, they're very rare. It's easy to get organic produce here. It's also easy to confuse organic produce with produce that has a lot of pesticides. But for the most part, it's all whole foods. Like, I'm actually thinking about doing a weird egg challenge. I'm going to eat nothing but eggs and kimchi for a whole week and see what happens. I don't eat sugar. No more sugar ever, ever, except for the booze, alcohol, sugars. They metabolize a little differently. They don't kick you out of keto. Is the air quality terrible in Manila? Yes, the air quality can be absolutely atrocious in Manila. It's hard to it's hard. A lot of places it's hard. There's no such critter as toxic masculinity. Exactly, masculinity isn't toxic. It is one of the highest virtues. Like I was saying earlier, it's just a term that was used from this clinical study of these psychologist guys that were studying ultra aggressive behavior in inmates. Um, and then the media got a hold of it and decided to just try to tear down men, tear down the family unit. Let's destroy America. Let's flood America with refugees. Let's break the system like United Nations Agenda 2030, World Economic Forum. If you guys aren't paying attention to that shit, it is going to catch up with you. And I don't want to get into it too much on the live stream because YouTube will simply shut me down. They will ban me. They will shadow ban me. They've already done it. That's why guys are like, dude, your videos are cool, but how come you don't have more subscribers? And I'm like, well, ask YouTube. Because after I made the first video about these fucking government parasites, I like literally like everything on YouTube just tanked for me. Like it's been a shadow ban ever since. So I've been a pretty good little boy and haven't really talked about any of that. You'd think YouTube would just get with the program and be like, well, obviously, if I can, increase my channel growth and increase the views and increase the revenue that's coming in, you make more money. Isn't that the whole idea? But they make so much damn money that they just don't care about people like me. So screw
There's
them.
no such critter as toxic masculinity. Isn't toxic. It's one of the highest of
Yeah,
virtues.
I was saying, if anything, it's this new femininity thing that's toxic, toxic femininity in America. Like before I left America, and granted that was 8 years ago, and I was looking old and tired, and I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now. So I was like one of those guys where you're like short, bald, fat, and and old now, right? Like it's like the joke was, stand me on my wallet, I get taller, right? I had a fantastic corporate job. It was an amazing life in some ways. Like I had no debts. I had great investments. I had enough, obviously to retire in the Philippines, but my life was hell. My life was miserable. I was fat. I was in pain. I was alone. Um, I tried to date, and I would meet quality women that were older. Like 8 years ago, I was 46, maybe 46. So I'm in my mid 40s, right? Corporate professional. I'm an executive. I'm dating, and we go to nice restaurants on the main line, the suburbs of this, fifth largest city in America. Like really nice restaurants, really nice wine, really nice, like, highly educated chats from these corporate professionals. But we're like 40 and 50 years old. Like some of these women I was dating were grandmoms. Now, granted, they were kind of hot, classy grandmoms, but they were grandmoms. And I'm not ready to date. I'm just not ready to date grandmoms. Like I went through a divorce. It wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Like there were no lawyers. There were no fighting. There were no fees. It was just like, look, let's split. All right, try it. Okay, it's good. Sign, bye. And then we split the assets. I got lucky, but I was still not in a good place mentally, physically. And when they started sending me to the Philippines, like, and I met a Filipina, like my life changed. Like, yeah, yeah, the beach is the bomb in the Philippines. Beach is the way to go. And that was the other thing in the U.S. I had the worst allergies. Like they were horrible. I was chained to a tissue box. 6 months out of the year. It was horrendous. Um, Moved to the Philippines. Met a Filipina, sweetest girl, prettiest girl, beautiful smile, curvy body, big. Everything that needs to be big. And she was smart and funny and loving and loyal and sweet. And like I'd never had a girlfriend like that in my life. And I fell in love with her, like literally right away. And I wanted to marry her, and I dated her off and on, not off and on, long distance relationship ish, because I was in Manila every quarter. So I would 16 trips to the Philippines, 4 years, right? Every quarter I came here for a month, and we spent 2 years together like that. And that's when I started learning about the player game. So when I was here, she was with me. constantly, and we talked about a future together, and like we went places and we traveled, and everything was great. And then I would go back to the states, and we would long distance chat, like video call a week, that kind of thing, texting on Viber, whatever. But I started to like I would get a missed text every now and then. I'd be like, wait, was that text intended for me? Like, who else are you texting? Like, what's really going on? Like, the sweetest girl, like even a religious girl, like you just this is the game they play. So, long story short, I can't make that long story short. That was a long story. There was all kinds of stuff that ended up happening in there. But we decided to just call it quits. It wasn't like a blow up breakout. It was a I can't be the guy for you. You can't be the girl for me. Just here's my blessing. Go find somebody else. And I did, literally within a week. My second girlfriend here in the Philippines, who I dated for 3 years, and even raised her child and wanted to adopt a child. It was beautiful. I I'm nuts. I love Filipinas. I just feel like I've never had a connection with a woman like I have with Filipinas. Like there's something about, I don't know if it's their beauty, if it's their sweetness, if it's their openness. Like there's stuff that pisses me off. Like I'll be like, no, I want to settle this. I want to settle this. I want to settle this. And like she'll be like, look, it's done. Nothing's going to happen. If good happen from it, why the hell do you have to talk about it? Why can't you just forget it and move on? And like that's hard for me sometimes. But they're not like that. They're just like, look, it happened. We screwed up. Something bad happened, and you're either going to make a decision that's going to change your life, or you're going to look past it. But don't. I don't understand how they can let stuff go a lot. What are we talking about?
There's another
Transformed
one.
so much
Um,
positively. It's an inspiration. Oh, thank you, JS. Thank you for always sharing your life. Yeah, I got a lot more sharing coming up on the videos. Where we're changing a little bit of how we're doing some things here. It's not so much just party, party, party all the time. And average. Are you average white boy? What white boy? Average white boy.
Partying and suffering.
BGC. Been here a few months. Waiting on your K1. Good for you, man. Uh, big hands. All right. Started vlogging. Hard to get views. God damn right, it's hard to get views. Yeah, I have tips. Hold on a second though. I was looking at jobs in Manila, but I heard about the air being bad. Well, the air is bad, and jobs are tough here, especially if you're a foreigner. There's two new laws that prevent you from getting hired here. You need to meet certain requirements. So there's 9 areas of work that they're simply not allowed to hire foreigners to do, and then there's you have to show a specialization or a unique skill set that a Filipino cannot provide before you can be hired, or you'd be sent here from your U.S. company like I was. But then that's a different set of visas, and you can't be here for. It's just weird how that works. And then they passed another law that said even if they give you the work permit for your specialized job, you now need to take on 2 proteges or 2 understudies, right? That you will train to do your job. So they're basically saying we'll hire you for as long as it takes you to train someone else to do your job. Now, granted, that's sounds easier than it is because I'm like, yeah, okay, I was in this industry in corporate for 20 years. How am I going to train a Filipino to get the American concept mindset, everything that goes into advertising, marketing, or whether maybe it's engineering or maybe it's a level of programming. Like there are certain things that you just are not going to be able to teach somebody unless they go to a university or have had 5 or 10 years in the field, like, or just being an American. Like you can't get American mindset, marketing, advertising, like concepts, like across to a Filipino because they just never lived that. They never grew up on daytime TV. They never went. They just never had that. Uh, is BGC better? Yeah. BGC is great. It's clean. It's easy. It's expensive, safe. Uh, yes, I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot about Thailand that's better than Manila, man. Like infrastructure for one, shopping for two. Like you can get anything you want in Thailand.
Food.
You get places easily in Thailand. It's the infrastructure is great. The internet's great. Everywhere has Wi-Fi.
Food.
Food, yeah, the food's amazing in Thailand. Like absolutely amazing and cheap. Just got online, just get an online job. Yeah, that's kind of what we do. We work online. We make a nice couple. Thank you. Penis appear sweeter than tigers. Yes, I'm sure they are. I am sure they are.
No, it's because most of Thai doesn't speak English. You know, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Bangkok, at least. Like that language barrier can be rough. Um, so Filipinos and foreigners. Why is it such a great mix? So I thought about this a lot over the years, and something hit me when I first went to Corregidor Island in Manila Bay. So Corregidor Island was one during the time of the war, 1944, I think. No, 42. Whenever they shelled Pearl Harbor, a lot of people don't know that was that December 9th, 1941 was Pearl Harbor, maybe.
Right.
So Pearl Harbor got bombed, and then 30 days later, they bombed Manila. They Pearl Harbored Manila, and a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. So, JS, thank you, man. Appreciate the channel membership. Love that, man. It's huge.
Salamat.
All right, so Corregidor Island was considered the key to Manila Bay. If you had the guns on Corregidor that were throwing 1,000-pound shells 20 miles into Manila, you controlled Manila. So that's why the Japanese fought like devils to take Corregidor Island. And you got to go to Corregidor. Like there's a place called the Army Post Hospital. It's 1,000-bed Army hospital, and the walls and the floors, because the roofs are gone, are riddled with machine gun bullets, riddled with like 40 millimeter machine gun bullets. And that guide was telling me, he's like, the Japanese zeros strafe for the hospitals every day, big red crosses on the roof. It's insane. It's like walking off the boat into a time capsule. Like it's amazing how World War II this island is. And now, granted, at the time that the Japanese conquered Corregidor and marched the Filipino and American soldiers to Bataan, the island was raised. Like there was no green vegetation on it at all, and now it's an absolute jungle paradise. Um, so where am I going with all this? The GIs were in Manila, and the GIs at that time, America considered Philippines a commonwealth, and America invested here after the war, and they brought over Coca-Cola factories, and they brought over baseball, and they brought over boxing, and they brought over basketball. You should see these. I have these propaganda uh, old like World War II reels that you can get online. It's like archives.org or something. Old films about Manila and about how you should see these like Filipinas in these June Cleaver like Leave It to Beaver style kitchens, like cooking casseroles and stuff. We Americanized Filipinos, and at that time, if you were a Filipino that served in the war, you were able to come back and forth to the Philippines with no visa whatsoever. Actually, at that time, I don't think any Filipinos needed a visa to travel to the U.S. The veterans just had benefits. It was a very interesting dynamic, but there's a statue on Corridor. Try to wrap this bit up. Statue on Corridor called Brothers in Arms, and it's the American soldier helping the wounded Filipino soldier. And when I first came to Manila, like they rolled out the red carpet for me. Granted it was work and business, and I was the big boss and stuff, but I never had been treated like that anywhere in my life, any day in my life. Like I felt like, look, why are you treating me like I'm something special? I'm just here for work. Like, no, you were a king. And that's what I tell guys here a lot, like passport bros and stuff. I'm like, you just don't get it. Like the Filipinas, granted, there's like going to be a huge part of them that look at you like you're the provider. Like, okay, I'll be your woman, but you got to pay for everything. And some guys are fine with that, and you got to watch the girls still. You just got to watch them. And the other point is you're going to get your ultra religious Filipinos, right? And even the ultra religious ones are fun and wild. They're just more conservative. They won't dress a certain way. They won't wear certain things. They won't go to certain places. They'll still, get the job done, if you know what I'm saying. But and then you got your professionals, and God damn, they you know what? I've known some great professional girls here, but they drive me nuts. They drive me nuts. I feel like they're all like overdriven potential closet narcissists that cannot shut up about themselves or their career or how fantastic they are or the family or how rich they are or whatever. And it's just like, no, I don't want to fucking hear about it anymore. Like, I don't talk about that. So much noise in the high-end condos. That sucks. Yeah, did you see that video I just put out? It's like that all the time. And that was like 2 weeks ago. Even in Pattaya, it gets frustrating. Phuket, international, good. Derek,
Who's Derek?
I don't know. Oh, he looks familiar. I know that name. Bertha. Hey,
Tagay
dude.
pa more.
What's up, man? Yeah, Tagay Pamor. Yeah,
Cheers.
we Tagay Pamor last night. Actually, we were out with Oliver last night. He's on the stream in there, and he's a cool dude that we have a lot of fun with. I tell Oliver all of my secrets, and I still haven't told him all of my secrets because then I couldn't write a tell-all book. And I keep telling him, you won't believe my tell-all book when I finally tell it all. Been with my Filipina for 3 years. She's jealous as hell, but a sweetheart. Yeah, my second Filipino girlfriend was like a Lorena Bobbit level jealous Filipina. Lorena Bobbit was somebody that got arrested in America and made like big news, like Rafi Tofo news, because she caught her boyfriend cheating and cut off his Johnson. Yeah, she was a Lorena Bobbit level Filipino. But this one, no, she's cool. She's cool. I've been less honorable than I should be as a boyfriend, making the videos and drinking and macking up on Filipinas in the clubs and stuff. She has probably every right to Lorena Bobbit me, and I've pissed her off on occasion, but for the most part, she knows I'm just fucking around and that nothing's gonna come of it. And it's all for the channel, honey. I'm just making videos. I need pretty girls in my videos because they get more views.
Sad.
Thailand.
How do you deal with Tampo? I've been encountered it
Oh wait,
firsthand from the chief.
hold on. We'll talk about Tampo in a second. What's this? Thailand has taken a page from the Philippines book. They're trying to make it to where eventually there'll be an English as a second language country. Yeah, I did see that. But you know what? Before they do that, Philippines has to take a page from Thailand's book called Legalized Weed. I mean, come on already. I was in Thailand last year, and we were let's just say it was medical grade. It was a good time. But Philippines does have really good visa and immigration for like a lot of Western countries, Americans and European guys. You the man, Andrew. What's up?
Who's Andrew?
Channel member.
Oh.
How do you deal with Tampo? Tampo, gusto ko Tampo. There's a song here called Ginto, which is gold, right? And it's like this big rap song, Ginto, Ginto. And I said, well, that sounds like Canto. And Canto is this restaurant that we go to. So I said, Canto, gusto ko, I want to go to Canto, right? Because we like to eat there. But then Cantot it means something else completely.
Bad.
Cantot means, I think it means, yeah. So if I say Canto, gusto ko kumanto means I want to be, you know what I'm saying? So we did a video that the girls thought it was funny.
He has a song with Ginto.
Here's how you deal with Tampo. Say, homie, don't play that shit. You want to be a childish bitch? Get the F out. Because there's going to be another one right behind you. You don't think that those Filipinas have 3 or 4 foreigner guys lined up? What, I don't have 5 or 10 Filipinas lined up? Come on. You don't have to put up with that shit. Now, there is a level that you do have to put up with. Sometimes she gets angry. People get angry. It's normal that people get angry. You have to learn to deal with anger. English is her second language. She's not as an affluent communicator as I am. So for me to expect her to be able to, manage her anger, deal with her emotions, and calmly or not calmly, but constructively express them to me in a moment of stress is a little I'd say it's a little unreasonable and probably too much to ask for. So when she gets pissed off and she says, "Look, I just need space," I don't really like to give her space. I just want to handle it and move on. But I've realized over the years, I'm like, there's nothing. She's a kid. She's like literally a kid. She's just stopped growing, like her brain has just barely completely formed. So you got to have a little patience. You got to be able to give them a little room. And then, a couple hours later, she'll come around. Or maybe a day later, she'll come around. Like I can't keep myself busy for a couple of hours, like a day. Like I don't have enough work to do that I can't just let her go mope and do whatever she wants to do. It's fine. You gotta be able to give them space. If they don't want to talk, you can't really push them because you wouldn't want to get pushed if you didn't want to talk. So that's been the challenge for me. But other than that, I don't do the Tampo crap. And like when my ex got jealous and shit, I was just like, you need to manage this. Throw a tantrum if you want. Smash the fucking house up if you want. I gotta go. Bye. I'm working. You know. She didn't even want me going on like corporate dinners. She's like, "Will there be women there?" I'm like, yeah. My staff is like 200 people. There's all kinds of. It's like ridiculous. How do you feel about Tampo? Yeah, screw that Tampo shit. Not no time for it. And I tell the girl straight up, I'm like, look, this is childish behavior. You're a grown woman. You want to act like a grown woman? I'll respect you like a grown woman. You want to act like a dumb child? Get the hell out. Go back to school. Because this ain't a classroom, honey. Let's go. Um, your videos are motivating me to visit the Philippines. Dude, the Philippines is amazing. And if you come, don't just come for like 2 weeks and spend it in Manila. Go to Boracay, go to Puerto Galera, go to Cebu. Just get the hell out of Manila. See the amazing Philippines. 7,500 islands here, man. It's a common thing to provide for your girlfriend in Thailand and Philippines. Taking care of the girl must be a cultural thing. Well, yes and no. We talked about the World War II mentality and all that stuff, and like they raised a generation, not her generation or the one, I guess the generation before hers, like her mom's generation. They raised that generation to be June Cleaver. She was the housewife. I'll post this. Actually, it's in one of my videos. I don't think I posted the whole thing, so I should post the whole thing just because it's so interesting to see how much America influenced the culture and how much has changed just since then. But the Philippines, I mean, they call it, like, if you go online and you Google it, they're like, it's no longer a third world country. It's an up and coming middle income South Asian political environment or something. And I'm like, dude, Philippines is a third world country. I'm sorry. Yeah, BGC is beautiful. Yeah, the gross domestic product is up and coming, but the vast majority of people here live in hovels. Like they live in hovels that are cobbled together from shit you find on the street. Like just walking, we walked to the bank the other day, right? And this is a nice little area, right? We got Venice Canal Mall is right here. I could probably pop, baseball hit it from here. Uh, BGC's 1.5 kilometers up the road. Ususan's right over here, and
Vista Mall.
the Vista Mall. Like this is a decent little area, and in between all these decent little areas are rusting shacks of shit. Like we walked by a couple the other day, and she's like, "You should film this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I think I've already filmed this, but I feel bad filming it. Like I don't want to like." You go online, you put this on online, and people are like, "Oh, you're one of those vloggers that shows like how horrible and poor the Philippines is. Like, why don't you show the beauty of the Philippines?" I'm like, dude, it is what it is. I don't make the shacks. I'm just the guy holding the camera. My point being, you get one of these beautiful young women and you bring her into your life and you're going to be exclusive with her or not. Some guys are like, no, I want 2 or 3 Filipino girlfriends and I'll pay for all of you. Just live together and don't give me shit. Or let me live with one and let me play with the other ones. And they do all that too. They are so poor here, dude. They're making 300 pesos a day. That's $6 a day for a full
It's
day's
more
work.
na.
Well, maybe they make
Japan,
480 now. So they
591.
Oh, it's 591. It's up to 591.
Yeah.
It's between 300 and 591. I
It
saw it. So it
depends.
depends on your region, where you are in the NCR, capital region,
It
whatever.
depends your job.
Yeah,
So
job
like
and
guard
region.
now. So they make Their shift is 12 hours per shift, then they make 1,000. And also it depends what kind of agency as well.
Okay.
So
So for 12 hours a day, standing on your feet as a guard, you make 1,000 pesos. That's
yeah,
$18, which the government takes at least a quarter of, right? And then you got to pay for your health and healthcare or whatever. So you're at the end of the day, you're making what, $14 for 12 hours work. You're basically making $1 an hour.
they're normally guard for a high rate. They make 32,000 for 1 month clean already.
Okay, 32,000. So they clean it. So that's after taxes.
Yeah, because sometimes they have a overtime, or like there's two
Thirty-two thousand. That's what, $700. They're making $700 a month, and
those
they
are
have
top.
decent jobs as guards, right? So the rest of these people, they have nothing. They have
Yeah.
nobody. They can barely afford a phone. They can't even afford a load. I have friends of mine, there were girls that I was dating or hitting on or whatever. They were like, "Can you send me a load, like 50 peso load, so I can be online for 3 days?" It's like they have nothing. So they give themselves to you. They're your loyal, beautiful, young, half your age, new wife that you have to manage. Like, how much I coach her every day. We're on calls every day. We're on the computer every day. We're in Microsoft Excel every day. She manages the finances now. She handles a lot of the social media posting. Like, she is learning all the terms, SEO, SEM, like all the acronyms. I am coaching her. I am investing in her. I am teaching her to be able to run a business. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, she needs to go on. She hates me saying that. See, that's why the Filipinos can't even think about living without you
Valera.
until they're lying to you, some other guy. But that's life, and that's why you just got to be the boss. And that's why you got to control this shit. So my fiance's pregnant, due in February. Sweet, Danny Arnold.
Congrats.
It's called Good Dread Game. What's called Good Dread Game? Can you write that down? Good Dread Game.
Good treat.
There's a big difference between taking care of a pinay versus a Western girl. Oh yeah, oh yeah, big difference. I don't even think Western girls want to be taken care of anymore, unless they're just like those so many cheesy, trampy IG hoes out there. Like they're like they can't even speak English. They're like, yeah, I'm not even gonna. Somebody will call me something if I approximate the way they speak, so I'm not gonna do that. Is it the same with ties? I think ties are different in a lot of ways, but I'm sure that
This one.
games dread. What is good dread game? Oh, cool. I see. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's crazy low pay. Cost of living is insanely low here. Like we live pretty good, pretty cheap. Um, yeah, we're working on a couple things. We got a couple things in the fire. Her bikini modeling stuff's kicking up again. I've been teasing a little that on the channel. I'll kick in a little more of that too. I just like it. We're doing more shoots. Um,
There's more shit coming up.
yeah, we're trying some different things. We're trying shoots on green screens. We're trying. We've got a couple of different job opportunities here for her and stuff. So it's all freelance work. Kragan's baby, yeah. Kragan's is Sabang's weird. Like we're actually thinking about moving back to Puerto Galera. Like Puerto Galera is beautiful. Manila's amazing. Manila's crazy, but God, there's nothing like like we did a house in Puerto Galera the other day. 12,000 pesos was it?
Yeah,
12,000 pesos a month for the house. That's like
it has
two
a
hundred
roof
and
deck.
eighty dollars. $280 for a house with a roof deck, walking distance to the beach and waterfalls, and the strip, right? Which isn't much, but it's up and coming. They're rebuilding it.
It's actually more now because when we were there, it was they were breaking all the old bars.
Yeah, they've rebuilt a lot of it now. So Puerto Galera, and if Puerto Galera for some reason gets boring as hell, which it can, you're living on the beach. There's not much to do there. Um, you go to Sabang for the night, and Sabang, well, I call Sabang Bang. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where all the bar girls are. But Sabang makes me sad because I don't like bar girls because was working with a mission that was helping these families that live on the beach in Mindoro, and they had all these beautiful young children, like, and you'd see these like 8-year-old children, these beautiful little kids, and like, and you think to yourself, like, they have no future ahead of them except to be a bar girl in Sabang in like 8 years. Like, in 8 years, I could come back here, and that 8-year-old little precious child that was on the beach that day, giving me coconut or a sliced mango that I paid 5 pesos for, is now a 16-year-old working in a bar. Like, it's just not fun. Um, oh, William Hutchinson, that is the best question. That is the best question. So anyway, average white boy, glad you went to Kragen's. Glad you had fun. Kragen's was fun. It's basically the party rock bar that's in Sabang. They need to put in a nightclub there. There needs to be some dancing in Sabang. How can you tell if a Pina is actually interested in you because of your personality, looks, etc., or just seeing you or a walking money bag? Are there tips to test her loyalty? Yes, I'll give you the biggest tip right there. You tell her this: honey, I want you to be my woman. I like you. You seem to really like me. We seem to connect. I want exclusivity. I just want you to be mine. Okay. And that means I'm going to take care of you, right? I'm going to care for you. I'm going to make sure that you're safe. I'm going to make sure that you have a house. I'm going to make sure that you're fed. I'm going to make sure that we have a decent life together, that you're not dying on the street, right? That you have medical care, whatever. And you're going to turn over control of everything in your life to me, including your phone. I want the passwords to your phone. I want the passwords to your social media. I want the passwords to your Facebook, your Instagram, your voice over IP chats, your Viber, your WhatsApp, your Telegram. I don't care. I want your computer. I want to look at everything you're doing all the time. And I want to see like what you've been up to for 6 months. And if she turns over her phone to you, you're good to go. And if she doesn't, she's playing you. And probably playing 4 other dudes too. That's the simplest test, man. If she doesn't turn over the phone, you know what you do? Say, bye-bye. Like, just like that. Bye. You don't trust me with your phone? You got something to hide from me? After everything I'm going to do for you and doing for you, you're going to hide something from me? Really? Yeah. Homie, don't play that. Coming up on an hour, I told her we'd only be on for an hour. You have the excellent mindset. You having the excellent mindset of you can
It's
shape up
okay. I
or
like it
leave.
though.
Yeah, shape up or leave. There's 10 other girls, I'm telling you, or more, and probably hotter. And that's the other thing. Like, I love Nikki. She's great. I think she's beautiful. She's not the most classic Asian pinay beauty that you'll ever see in your life. She doesn't even look Asian, which is probably half the reason I like her. Some days I think she looks like a Spaniard. Some days I think she looks like a Native American. Some days I think she looks like the hottest Asian in the world. Like,
Sometimes I look like a lizard.
and yeah, and sometimes she looks like a lizard. I mean, she's pretty plain, but she's got a beautiful smile, and she just a little bit of makeup and gets her in that bikini. I think it's the body. The body is just so banging that like I can't keep my hands off. Like I love her. Yeah. And my point in saying that is that there's always somebody cuter. There's always somebody a little slinkier or a little sexier or nicer thighs or whatever, a little classier, better hair. Who knows? Like I'm the biggest. I'm the top of the heap out there. No, I'm like a middle aged dude. She could probably do 1,000 times better than me. Maybe the guy would be older and fatter and richer. She'd be happy because maybe he's a nice guy. They mostly care about you being kind. Take care of them. And if you do that well, you shouldn't have to worry about them. Uh, I know I am not a 10, and I know that there are younger, buffer, better looking dudes out there with a lot more hair than me. Not that some girls don't like that cowboy action. You know, what I mean, I try to do that, right? The old karate black belt. So my point being, yeah, I might be able to find hotter, cuter, sexier, whatever, but I'm not going to do better than her. Even though there's temptation out there, even though like you got your hand on some girl in the club, whatever, like, and that's going to happen. That is always happening. Girls got their hands on her. You should see that members only video, the one. Actually, I don't know if I posted it yet, but it's pretty hot. There's some gratuitous booby action in the members only version, and the girls are having fun with the, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, you get to a point where you realize, yeah, there is a lot of candy here, and the candy is cheap, and the candy is good and yummy, and but you just got to cut it at some point. You're like, I found someone that's good, I found someone that's hot, I found someone that does it for me. You need to get your hand out of the candy jar. Like, and it's that simple. And some guys are still like, no, no, I don't want that. I want a girl that's bi. So like, we have that conversation all the time. It's just like, well, can I bring a girl home? And she's like, yeah, maybe you can bring a girl home, but don't ask me to touch her. It's like, okay. So like, you're gonna have flexibility, unless you have a real conservative girl, and then she's gonna be like, no, sorry, I don't do that. God said I can't do that. So Drake game is. Yeah, we just checked it out. It's cool. Yeah, you shape up or leave. That is the only way to do it. What's the main difference between Philippines girls and Thailand girls? Once you get them as a girlfriend, in my opinion, not the bar girls, but the girls with normal day jobs. So I don't really know because I've never dated in Thailand, and I only know Thai girls from the connections that I made in Thailand. And my understanding was, after talking to these girls, and their English was pretty good. They There were two types. There were the types that they only ever go with foreigners if the foreigner is going to pay them for sex. And then there's the ones that don't care about getting paid for sex. They just want the foreigner to pay for them to party. And then if they party and have a good time, then they're willing to have sex. They're just, I guess they're what we used to call sluts, right? Like, who cares? But those girls obviously weren't the nice girls. They weren't the fine girls. They were like the fat girls. They were like the sloppy girls. They were like the party girls. They're like what we used to call. Oh, I can't even say that. It's so rude. It sounds so rude. I won't say it. But the girls that live in Thailand, if you live in Thailand and you have a job in Thailand and you're a resident there, or living there for a year or two, then you can get a decent Thai girlfriend. They don't want to waste their time on tourist boys. And there are a lot of Filipinas that are like that now too. Like the ones that have jobs and stuff. They're like, look, I'm not your 2 week fantasy in the Philippines, girl. Like, you want that? Go to the bar. You can find that. Girls, a lot of girls here, they either want a long distance relationship or they want a real relationship. And if you're going to be in a relationship with them, they're going to expect you to support them, because otherwise, why are they going to devote their time to you if you're not doing anything for them? The normal day, the normal day job girls in Thailand, I think, will date you like a real normal boyfriend if you live there. Multiple phones is number one alarm bell. Actually, believe it or not, they all have multiple phones. And even to this day, I cannot get a straight answer out of her as to why, but I know it has something to do with Globe and Smart, because the networks here suck. So, like, she has some of her family that's back in the province on Smart, right? Because Smart is better in some of the southern islands. And some of her family here is on Globe, because Globe is better in the metro. So,
Depends the city.
yeah, it depends on where you are. So a lot of the Filipinos will have two phones, because they're constantly trying to keep in contact with their friends that are on the network. So if you're on Smart, you can text the Smart for free. Oh, Jay, thanks, man. Every little bit helps, bro. I really appreciate that.
Thank
If
you.
you're on Smart, yeah, you get to text and call Smart. If you're on Globe, you get to text and call Globe. Now, uh, depending on the load too. Hey,
It's
Leo,
cheaper.
what's up, man?
The
Leo's in the
smart is
house.
cheaper. Hi Leo.
We were just talking about you the other day
Yeah.
because you watched one of her reels, or one of my reels. That was the Ernest reel. I got to send that to you, Ernest. By the way, if you're still on the stream. Yeah, and then depending on what kind of load you're buying, some of the networks are cheaper than others. That seems to be the main reason why. But like, even my corporate boss, who was a Filipina with like some husband and a kid, like, she had two phones. They all had two phones. JS, thank you, man. Does Nautica Bar offer I think it does, yeah. I think they have an upstairs room, believe it or not. I always prefer an ugly face with a banging body. We call those butterfaces, but here they call them
Hipon.
hipon. And hipon is the Tagalog word for shrimp,
They call me Hipon.
because you take off the head before you eat the body, right? So hipon. Nah, banging bodies always do it for me too, man.
That's why you like me.
That's
Hipon.
you're not a Hipon, honey. But you should
Filipino call
check
me
out the video I
Hipon.
just posted. There's a little shot of her in her bikini on a photo shoot we did a year or so ago. While I plug my Filipina Cupid thing. It's not Filipino Cupid. God, it's so awful. ChristianFilipina.com gave me some kind of weird sponsorship to promote them, so I promoted the videos. Yes, it's like being a kid in a candy store. Exactly, and that's what it's going to be like at first, and you're going to go nuts, and it's going to be hard to resist the temptation. And you know what? Don't go nuts. I did, but at some point, you're going to find someone special, someone cute, someone with a banging body or that little porcelain angel face, whatever. I like her face because depending on like the angle, sometimes like she looks like a different. I
Nimbang.
know she looks like a different person. Like I'll be laying in bed next to her. I'm like, ooh, who's this hottie? I'm about to rock, huh? Like, it got me some strange tonight. Like it's just bizarre. I'm telling you.
Who is that?
I was there last week. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you look cool, kind of like Ramsey Dewey with the hat off. Oh yeah, yes. That was the whole MMA thing. And when I was competing I'm a third degree American Kempo karate black belt, and like we used to do this thing like where you just, it's like like the bald guys get up there and they're like all buff and they're like oh, whip your fucking head off. Like I got no hair to pull. You know, get in a fight with me, you got hair. Don't let me get my hands on it. Um, Thanks though, I appreciate that, Danny. Adrian, hold on real quick. Adrian, I do believe they have an upstairs room there. I don't know how clean it would be. I'd take a black light in if I were you, but why bother when you can just take them out? You know what I'm saying? Thai women just want money. Two girlfriends there. I know the culture. Stormer, the multiple phone enigma. Exactly. But I cannot remember one Filipino girlfriend that didn't have two phones, and a lot of it has to do with family and friends and smart or globe.
Especially if they do live selling.
Yeah, the phone plans are shit here. And right, like that's the other thing they do. Like she'll do live selling and stuff like on TikTok, or like one of her phones is better than the other phone, so they do TikTok on one and Facebook on the other. That way they can stream on two platforms. They're selling.
I hated their phone plans. They had there.
William, thank you, sir. Appreciate your contribution to our effort here in the Philippines.
I can buy rice now.
Yes,
I eat a lot of rice.
she's actually getting better at it. All right, so it's been an hour. You want to pack it in, Nikki, or
I like it though.
Oh, you want to keep talking? All right. I could use a drink. I
You
didn't.
want
I
a
didn't.
drink?
I didn't prepare well for this. Yeah. How about just like a glass of water over there or something?
No ice.
I want a real drink.
Huh?
Nothing. I don't keep beer in the house. If I kept beer in the house, I'd be in trouble. I drink beer every day. Beers are carbs. I might keep San Zero. Like every now and then, I'll buy like a couple San Zeros. Like if we go shopping on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I know I'm like maybe I'll have a beer too, like on a Thursday or Friday before we head out. Thank you, Jazz.
So what? Can I?
Yeah, Kempo rocks, man.
My shoulder is so sore.
That's the other thing. Like we'll come home from the weekend and wake up on like we woke up this morning, and I'm like, ugh, what happened? Like
No,
why does my shin hurt?
no, because I did a jumping jack yesterday
Yeah.
50 times.
So normally we do warm ups with jumping jacks, but she like doubled the amount we normally do.
Macho.
Yeah, exactly, James. The Sam Zero, like 1, 2, like, and then I'm like, give me another one. Like sometimes I order two Sam Zeros when I order Sam Zeros because I know the first one's going to be gone, like 2 sips, and then you get halfway into that third chug and the second Sam Zero, and you start to feel the buzz, and then you can slow it down a little. But if you just nurse them all night long, you'll never feel the buzz. So he's right. You got to just slam that first one or two, and then take it easy on them. 60 calories, 3 carbs. I drink those all night. The same Tagalog, hawak sa patalim,
Yeah.
literally means gripping a knife. Women, as a last resort, will work in bars to survive. Yeah,
Yeah.
they will, and they'll do other stuff too. like play foreigners. Um,
You make a good couple. Where did you meet? We just mentioned
yeah, we
earlier.
met in BGC. We met at a bookstore. I was saying, believe it or
Market,
not,
market.
some of these malls here, where the college girls go, it's a great spot to meet girls.
There's one of our friend, uh, Ruben.
Mm-hmm.
Remember him from BGC group? He used to go there. He
Yeah,
just
I
go there
remember Ruben.
just to meet Filipino.
Yeah, you go to the mall to meet Filipinas, like the food court. Like we were in the food court at Market the other day, and like there were like they had to have been high school girls though, but all I'm saying is like they were just all there, like hanging and gabbing and chatting, and like one of them was making eyes, and I'm like, I mean, they're pro sure is just curious, you know. Filipinos in general tend to stare at foreigners. They're curious about foreigners. They look at the girl that the foreigner's with. A lot of times, they're like, what she got that I don't got, or what she got that got him the man, or whatever. Um, in Thailand, many nice girls still try to make demands for a monthly salary. Yes, they do that here too. And it's not so much a salary; it's an allowance. Okay, like I said before, if you want to be exclusive with a woman, she's got to give you something and you've got to give her something. Like, where is the value for her to be with you other than the fact that you're like, you're maybe you're Brad Pitt and she just can't keep her hands off your abs and that's enough. I'm not Brad Pitt and my abs just aren't as good as his. So it's not enough for her. Me being kind, me being strong, me being stern sometimes, me being funny, me being flexible, uh, me being willing. Wow, Leo, I don't know what that is, but that's a big number, man. Thanks, bro. I'm gonna have to get the cash converter up for that one. Thank you, sir. Not only do you buy drinks when you're in Manila, I appreciate that, man.
He also pay secret door
Yeah,
entrance.
and the last time he was here, he got us into the after hours club. That was fun. Uh, yeah, it's been interesting. We don't do allowances. At one point, we sort of tried to, but it pissed me off, and I'll tell you why. And I started talking about this earlier, and I got off it. When we were living in BGC, we didn't have a lot of friends, but when we started making friends, she was working in the restaurant. I started meeting the guys. I started learning about the game, watching the texts that the guys were sending her. Hey, give me your IG, and then they'd be like, she'd have a 10-minute chat with this guy, like when she was off of work about like her boyfriend, me, right? With the guy. The guy's like trying to get, well, why doesn't your boyfriend come in? Where is your boyfriend? Why don't you come over to my place? You know, that kind of thing. Like, fucking foreigners are players too. They'll snake you in a second. And
Everything is a play.
yeah,
It's a game. You.
so eventually I meet the guy and we end up becoming friends. And I learned a lot from him too, because he was a hardcore player in the game. And where I'm going with this is, but it was his girlfriend. He literally had a kept girl. Like this was during lockdown. He's like, I don't want to be in my condo alone. He's like, honey, we just started dating, but I like you. This is going to be bad. Why don't you just come move to my place? I'll give you everything you need. We'll get your nails done. We'll get your hair done. We'll get your, everything done. We'll get your clothes. We'll get you whatever you need. And we'll just have fun together during lockdown. So he ended up putting her on an allowance. And then he moved another girl in who he said, oh, well, I'll give her an allowance too, but she has to clean. And that didn't work out apparently. But my point is the girl started talking to her. And then the next thing you know, I'm not good enough. And she's like, well, so-and-so gets an allowance and so-and-so's boyfriend does this. And I'm like I said, you shut it down, boys. You shut it down. I'm like, do I look like so-and-so? Do I act like so-and-so? Do I tell you that you have to be a bi slut in bed for the bitches that I bring home? Do I tell you you have to make sex videos with me so I can show it to the other girls to bring you come home? No, I don't do any of that shit. I'm me, they're them. What works for them doesn't work for me. And it shouldn't work for you either. We'll work something else out. And eventually she was salty about it. But, girls get inside their head. She was a young girl at the time. And I just shut that down, man. Shut it right down. And then I just said, look, let's learn about budgeting. Let's talk about budgeting. Let's look at what your expenses are. What are your expenses for the month? She's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, really? You don't know what you spent in a month? How much did your rice cost? How much do you have to pay your mom or your healthcare or whatever? So then she started. I said, this is Microsoft Excel. This is how you use Microsoft Excel. I started teaching her Excel, and then she started tracking her expenses. And I'm like, see how much you spent in the month now. This is how it totals up. This is how it breaks down. This is a pie chart. And now you can look at the end of the month, say, wow, that's where all my money went. And you start to understand why am I spending so much money on this shit? You cut your expenses here, you move it around. You guys know how to budget. You know what expenses are. She didn't. Now she does. Once she got her expenses together, then we put her budget together. Okay, this is how much money you need to make every month. How much money are you making? And how much money do I need to provide for? You don't obviously have to worry about rent. We live together. You don't have to worry about food. Like I shop, right? So what else? And that's where we started from. Leo, it is your birthday. Happy birthday, bro. You're more than welcome to a bottle of San McKnight the next time you come to Manila. You look me up and you know where we'll be. And we always meet him with Libs.
Happy birthday,
Yeah, happy
Leo.
birthday, man. Thank you.
Salamat.
And why are they so unreal, or real estate prices so unrealistically high in Metro Manila? Is it good old demand or something else in play? I'm sure there's something else in play. It can't be demand because the amount of condos that are going up everywhere it's astronomical. Like I've been in Manila off and on pretty much for 12 years straight, 8 years now. I can't remember ever living in a condo that didn't have another condo going up next to it like 24/7. There are so many condo units, and foreigners can only own condos here. You can't buy property here. Um, and there are some good condo deals. Astronomically high or unrealistically high is because there are certain areas where the condos are primo, and some condos are just better than others. BGC condos are just going to be the most expensive. It is the most expensive city to live in. You can get decent rates on rentals or Airbnbs, but you want to buy a condo here, it's going to be expensive. Some areas of Makati, expensive, really expensive. Some areas of Makati, not so expensive. Like there's condos where the Venice Canal Mall is here, and on the other side is the Barangay Ususan. We're in between, and there's a old kind of crappy condo there, and then there's one that's sort of mid range. What's that one called? The one we walked by the other day. There were
Where?
two. There's the one Asana or something.
Susana.
No, what's the one we saw the unit in there?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Akasha.
Akasha. So
Yeah.
Akasha Estates is right here.
Akasha and-
It's like a 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers from BGC, kilometer from the Venice Canal Mall in McKinley Hills. Those condos are about 1/8 the price of the BGC condos. Granted, they're older, the building's crappier, and they're smaller, but you can get deals here.
I'm not Brad Pitt.
If that's Korean won, it's about $8, dude. I'll take $8. Thanks, man. Why are real estate prices? I'm not Brad Pitt, nor am I Chris Hemsworth. Daniel fucking Arnold. Yeah, baby. I actually kind of like that. If I had a shot, I would do one. Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to be Brad Pitt. Is the point? Like, I work really, really, really hard to try to look as absolutely good as I can all the time, simply because, well, A, I don't like looking like crap, and I did for a long time, and B, I want to look good for her. Like, I am a reflection of her. She is a reflection of me. My buddy Steven, who's been in town for a couple months, he's leaving next week. He said, I should have taken a picture of this, the hottest, cutest, tiniest, petitest little adorable Filipina, like an alien, walking down the street the other day with the oldest, ugliest, hairiest, fattest, like barely walk dude. And he's like, the way they were walking and the way she was holding his hand, like you just knew they were an item. And he was just like, in what universe could that be attracted to that? And again, it isn't about looks. It's about two things. Primarily, money. Can you support her? Can you care for her? And two, are you kind to her? Or are you just so damn controlling and so damn rich that it doesn't matter because she has no choice for a better life, and you're it, and you're paying for her whole family. You know what I'm saying? When you're desperate, you're desperate. It's like that guy said, holding the knife.
Kapit sa patalim. It's not hawak sa
Yeah,
patalim.
hit some likes. Thanks. That's good. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm not like a like whore or anything. I know Brad Pitt is certainly not Brad Pitt anymore. I get when I said that, I was thinking like when whatever that first movie was where he came on, where all the girls were like, "Oh my god, those are abs." I am working so hard on trying to get the abs to pop again, guys. Like I am doing crunches every day. I am doing other like twist oblique exercises every day.
Buti.
I am in a yeah, and then there's the extracurricular ab work, like the the side ab work. That's actually harder than the crunches, if you know what I mean. Uh, yeah. The allowance. Don't do the allowance, guys. I mean, unless it's something that works for you and her, and it's reasonable. Like there could be a reasonable allowance. It's not like I don't give her money every now and again. Like she could be like, look, something came up, or I want this, or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, how much is it? Did you look at it on Lazada? Did you look at it on this? Okay, that's a decent price. Here you go. Like it. I mean, she makes money. She doesn't make as much money as I do, but I am not going to. I mean, if you want to be on an allowance, you're literally like, I own you now. It's like I'm paying for you to do whatever the hell I want. You're not just my girlfriend. You're somebody I am paying. Therefore, you work for me. Like who wants that? Um, but you gotta understand that there's going to be times where you're going to need help. Like I'll write the book one day. You'll get the insight. Girls getting inside their own head. We call that hamster wheeling. That's what happened with her. Somebody fucking hamster wheeled her, and I wasn't happy about it. Luckily, she was smart enough to, or maybe I was stern enough, or I explained it well enough, or I was compassionate enough to try to work out something else, and we did work it out. Granted, it was a hard time. It was like lockdown. There weren't any foreigners here. She didn't have any options. I had all the options. I was a fucking commodity. My social media was blowing up left and right with bitches that are just like, please, sir, let me serve you for the rest of your life and I'll be your Filipina goddess. Like it was an unbelievable time. They were thirsty, thirsty, thirsty. There were girls that were just like, I'm just bored and want white action. Like come over. I'm like, okay. Like I'm not exaggerating. Hey, Living Asia. Thanks for joining the stream, man. I blame Airbnb. Well, you know what? Airbnb used to be awesome here, and there's still some decent deals. But it is definitely after lockdown, it tanked. Near High Street, 70 square meters, 70,000 pesos, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. That's actually not bad for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. That's not bad at all. I mean, that's not cheap. JS, thank you, man. Thanks for joining the stream. And thanks for your contribution. Appreciate that too. 7,000 pesos. So we were living in BGC near SM Aura. Well, actually, we lived in two places. We lived in Uptown, like Uptown BGC, right across from the mall. I got really lucky there with my lease because I knew the owner. And then the other one, I think we were paying 25,000 a month, like for a 1 bedroom.
With a balcony.
With a balcony.
It was
and one bath.
30,000, and then I got it.
She
for
talked them down.
25,000.
That was the other thing. I never negotiate my own rental prices. Like I don't even show up until it's time to sign. Like she handles everything. And then they think they're dealing with a Filipina, and then I show up and I'm like, okay, what's the negotiated price again? Because they get the foreigner price in there, It's ridiculous.
Same here too, 30, and then it's 25. It's a house.
Yeah. They wanted a lot for this house, but she talked them down. MOA, that was the other thing, right? There are a lot of foreign investors. The Chinese investors are going crazy here. At Uptown, I remember the guy telling me, he's like, I own 2 units, and he's a Filipino. One of the units, actually, he owned 3 units. One unit he uses office. One unit he uses as his home, and the other he rented. And he was saying that he knows Chinese guys that own 10 units in the building, and that they're almost constantly vacant. Living in Leaving Asia. The Filipinos feel. How do Filipinos feel about Filipinos who work their asses off in the USA, now ready to go home and enjoy themselves in retirement, live the good life? I think they think that they had a lucky break or a good opportunity that they worked for and deserved.
What is it?
Filipinos that go to the U.S. and work their ass off all their life, send all their money back home. Now they can come back home and live a good life and retire. How do you feel about them?
They feel both thing.
Both things. What?
They realize like they wasted a lot of times. Oh, they wasted their youth instead of enjoying life. But at the same time, if their families who they're sending money, if they become successful in the Philippines, then it's luck. It's not just luck. It's a good thing.
But how do you feel about those Filipinos that are now living here, retired after working all their years in America?
How do I feel?
How do you feel about people like that?
I want to be like them because life in the Philippines is not easy. That's why I study Korean
Right.
language because I was applying for factory worker in Korea, but then lockdown came,
Yeah. Lockdown screwed up a
so
lot.
I didn't continue my exams.
I was going to go to China on a year contract to teach English as a second
Oh,
language
that's right.
because I wanted to learn Kung Fu. And I'm like, well, lockdown killed that. So yeah, she had to pay like a fee to get placed, and then they have to pay for their medical, and they have to pay for their blood tests, and they have to pay for their MBIs, and they have to pay the amount of money that it would cost her to be sent to Korea to work. Half the money that she made in the first year would go towards paying the fee, the agency fee. For a Filipino to get a visa to work overseas, you actually need capital. Like you can't just go to an agency and say, "Oh, sign me up and I'll pay back over the next year." I mean, some will garner your wages, but they garner it at an exorbitant rate. Uh, Fight Club, baby, that was the one. Yeah,
What?
Fight Club. If you haven't seen it, it's a good movie. Do you have a job other than YouTube? Yes, I do. I'm coming with about 1 year's budget, so interested to know what's available. I'm over 50, but fit and ready. Hey, it's two of us, man. Uh, Online hustle, man. That's kind of where it's at. I also do consulting still. I ran BPO operations here for a long time for call centers.
I think the plane.
There were, yeah, it's loud, the planes here. There were Chinese, though, yeah, during the pandemic, were there Chinese? Yeah, there were Chinese people here during the pandemic, weren't there?
Yeah, so many.
A lot. But the weird thing is Filipino women tend to not like Chinese men. And the Chinese men apparently consider Filipinos to be dogs. So I'm not saying all, and I'm not saying that's just a common sort of concept here. And I've heard some things that weren't nice. Manny, I'm live streaming, bro. Thanks for joining. Not too much is up. We're chilling tonight. We're talking. We had a blowout weekend. We just did a video premiere. Um, so we decided to get on the stream tonight. Predict your next live stream to have at least 200 viewers. Word will travel like wildfire. Really? Oh, Hector, I appreciate that, man. If you're on other live streams too, give me a shout, man. Maybe I'll join in. I usually join JLB's live stream. You guys might know Jeff Lee Brown runs a YouTube channel. He's a funny guy, smart guy too. The lockdown killed it, man. I can't talk about lockdown here. That's what got me in trouble with YouTube. Fiance worked in Singapore for peanuts, and they treated her terribly. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Leo, of course you speak Korean. I think you were trying to do Korean with him that night, the first time, but
Yeah, I only remember
but she
the
couldn't remember half the words,
message.
and she was drunk. I'm speaking Tagalog today. La buhay. Uh, yeah, I love Fight Club too. I got to show it to her now. Making my first exploratory trip there in a couple of weeks. Oh, what are your thoughts on Tinder? Oh, well,
Said that I would
any
teach you in
keepers on that
Hangul.
app or any hoes? Actually, I do consultations about this. Channel members, you get a free consultation, right? Join my channel as a member. Uh, yeah, Bumble is better than Tinder for sure. And then there's, well, we're not going to talk about that one today, but actually, Oliver, who just replied, and I were talking about this just last Friday night, and I think we agreed that there are some decent Filipinos on these apps. Most of them are players, or most of them want money for sex, and a lot of them are trans girls. So
Everyone is player,
you're going to, yeah,
so
you're
you just
going
have to
to,
be wiser.
you're gonna like, right. Everyone's a player, even if she's a sweet girl with a good job. She's playing you to be like her new husband. Like she might not be playing you for money, but she's playing you for like a long term relationship or something. It's like there. Everyone's got something in the game. Bumble definitely beats Tinder. Tinder is mostly going to be a waste of time. You're going to get a couple of good dates for sure. You just got to know how to ask the questions right up front. You got to be like, look, I don't mean to be rude. This is my first time in the Philippines. I heard bad things about Tinder, and I was told that I have to ask you these three questions. And the first question you ask is, are you are you a female woman? You can't say, are you a woman? Are you a girl? You say, are you a female woman? At which point they will say yes or no, or they'll go, hey, I'm Ladyboy. Um,
There's other like I heard a story from one of our uh, dude friend. Uh, I think it's uh, what's her name, Jerry. So he was talking to a person online, dating site, and then he asked her if she's she male,
yeah.
female. She said yeah, and then he asked him to come to his condo.
Okay, that's flag number two. Wait, he asked her to come?
Yeah, and then but he makes sure that he's
That
not
she's a woman?
transgender. Yeah, but then when he arrived there,
When she
he
arrived,
is
is a trans.
yeah,
So
he's so pissed
rule
off.
number two: before coffee date, and only do coffee date unless you've just connected with her, you've had wonderful email conversations, you've been on video calls, you guys are want to meet, can't wait to meet. Video call, video call, video call. Always video call before you meet the girl. Get on a video call. Hey, look, I don't meet unless we do a video call. And hey, we just have to say hi, 5 minute chat. Let's talk a little. Get to understand if she can actually speak English. Get to understand if she looks like a human being instead of the filtered pictures that are on her profile. Uh, and then understand where you're meeting her from. Oh, I'm in Quezon City. What? I'm in Makati. No, I don't want to meet you in Quezon City. And I'm not paying for you to come to Makati and then paying for you to go back home. You might. I did that for years. Like I didn't care. Like I was here for a month at a shot. I was on corporate. I'm like, yeah, just be here at 6 o'clock. I'll pay for everything. Like don't worry about it. That's one way to go with it. But you're gonna find a lot of these girls are gonna be like, oh, sorry, I don't have taxi fare, sir. Or can I just come to your condo? That's just a red flag. They want to come to your condo, and they're going to try to get sex for money, and they're going to have sex with you, and then say, I'm in love with you, and then they're going to say, oh, I'm my mom's in the hospital, I just need 2,000 pesos or whatever.
Those are hostess. But if a woman want are looking for a foreigner for long term, they they won't come to your
Right.
condo.
And
They
if
want to meet you at a
yeah,
coffee shop.
so my advice always is, look, quick video call, then we do a coffee date. I'm fine with buying you a cup of coffee and having a nice little chat. I'm not going to buy you dinner. I'm not going to buy you drinks. Maybe round number two. But then the flip side of that, and I talked about this on the last team, is like, look, I'm only here for 2 weeks. I don't have time to court you, honey. I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to find myself a freelancer, or I'm going to get a bar girl or whatever, because I'm here and I want to party. And that's, some guys do that. Personally, I don't do that. I don't want diseases. I don't know what the hell these girls are doing. It freaks me out that they bang 6 guys in the same week. It's just not my thing. Even if a Filipina is a sweetheart and I think she might have another like long distance relationship player thing going on online where she's talking to some guy and he's got her on a little allowance or something, like she might still be a sweet girl that's looking for the one. You might be the one. And once you get that one, she cuts him off. And how do you know she cuts him off? Because you control everything, phones, passwords, Instagram, everything. If you're caring for her, you got to know where she is. You're caring for, I track her phone. No, I'm not controlling. I am caring. I care for her. I have to watch out for her. I am smarter than her. I handle alcohol better than her. Trust me. Free consultation for channel members? Yeah. Yeah. We can do a call. Um, I used to limit it to top tier channel members. It's Manila baby, and I probably still should because if I charge you my rate for a consultation call, it would be like 4 months of a top tier membership. But if you're a member, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's get on a call. Um, and then when you come here, we'll probably meet up, and then I'll be like, dude, uh, why don't you act like a big spender and get us a table at this club over here, and I'll bring a bunch of girls and we're gonna party, like, like I got no shame, guys, trust me. But we have fun, and you will too. Um, and yeah, you'll take us out for a night, and like you'll buy a bottle here, and we'll party here, and we'll go there, and like you'll drop like $100, $120. You'll be like, that's it, that's all I had to spend for the whole night in all those clubs and all those bars for all that booze. I'm like, yeah, and there were four of us. Uh, thanks for the live. All right, we gotta sleep too. We've been on for an hour and a half. I don't know if I'm going to do marathon streams. We had a rough weekend, and we had
Still haven't over.
yeah, and we have a day, kind of a busy day tomorrow. Yeah, you got to be careful, man. Funny regarding the girls with their sob story. It's prevalent all over Asia. Yep, I was in Thailand for 20 years. Campbell. So interestingly enough, though, a lot of these sob stories are real.
What do you mean?
A lot of people have issues in the Philippines. Their parents are not in good health, or their baby is in the hospital, or their brother, when your brother was in the hospital. Like, the sob stories aren't just stories. They Filipinos fall on hard times. They fall on hard times because they simply have nothing to fall back on here. Like, one slip and you're in the gutter. Like, there's no handrails. Right. If you come with a good heart, it will break your heart. And my first year or two in Manila, I feel like it changed me. And it's not like I hadn't lived in third world countries before, like, but there's something about Manila and the Filipinos, and just like, man, it really breaks your heart. It really breaks your heart. And that's another reason why I decided I stopped wanting to be a player, because I ended up breaking a couple hearts myself, and I felt terrible about it. And like, I'm like, look, honey, let me I don't know, buy you a new phone. I'm sorry. What else can I do? Like I just was so guilty. Like, you're gonna want to be a dog. You can't help it. It's being a kid in a candy store. You want candy, and there's candy everywhere. But just be honest about it. Just, if you're like, look, I want to play field and I want to play with you, let me take care of you for a little while we're having fun. And if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, then there's someone else. But don't tell the one, oh, I'm dating you and I'm only dating you, and then like 2 days later you're out with another girl. Like, there's no need to lie to them. I think you'd be better off being straight up with them, even if it's like the money.
So the Halloween for Bubble.
Oh yeah,
We talked about
Halloween.
Chelsea and
God,
I.
yeah,
We
it's
talked about
coming
last
up.
night.
Who you and who?
Chelsea.
Oh,
We talked
Chelsea.
about last
Yeah.
night. He's gonna give me she's gonna give me a
Like a wrestling costume.
She offered it, and I said I'm
Oh,
not gonna wear panty like that outside without stacking. And then she said, okay, what about you become a Pocahontas?
Mm. So we have a friend. I can put her Instagram up. She's kind of famous. She's the CNN Philippines Trans Woman of the Year. And she's a wrestler. She does, like, big time wrestling. I'm trying to get her on as a co-host on one of these podcasts I want to put together. But anyway, we were out with her last night and partying like crazy. And she has a lot of costumes and outfits and stuff because they do this wrestling stuff. And we're trying to get her a costume for Halloween. Halloween is the blowout party of the year in Manila. It is 3 national holidays in 1 week: All Souls Day, All Saints Day, and All Hallows Eve. It is always a party. It was something about $200 for a great party. Yeah, that's what guys are saying. Like I had a guy take us out the other night. Like, channel member came into town. He's like, everything's on me. I got you covered. We went to the first bar. He's like, I got a bottle, mixers. We're partying. Next bar, at the end of the night, we went to 2 bars, 2 bottles. Well, one was like a bar, one was like a club. And at the end of the night, it was like $120, and there were 4 of us. It was me and him and her and her friend. And he's like, dude, he's like, I had a date like 3 weeks ago. It was dinner and a movie. He's like, I had to pick the girl up, my time, my gas. Then I had to drive her to the restaurant, pay for parking, buy her dinner, buy her movie, buy her popcorn, and then drive her home. Again, my time and gas for like a quick couple of pecks on the cheek or the quick makeout session in the car before I let her go home or let her go home before she got out of the car. And he's like, I blew more than that on the movie and dinner date than I did tonight blowing out Manila. Yeah, Chelsea's wild, man. Oh, a message got retracted. I don't know why. Filipinas dressed up as naughty Hermione Granger is hot. Oh, that's interesting.
Sorry.
It's a character from Harry Potter. Well, we'll take that under consideration. I have Filipino friends there that rent a condo in Rockwell and party discreetly at night. Yeah, yeah. Mostly good conversation, lots of free spirit, fine spirits and booze. Nothing too wild is a place to. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get too loud and blown out at Rockwell. Sometimes we do karaoke there, and I'm a little surprised actually at how loud they have it, but it's also not that late.
No, because in that building, that floor, they only have 2 house unit.
Living Asia, thanks for jumping on and the contribution and being a part of the live stream tonight. We are talking about doing these weekly. Actually, we want to do these weekly. Do I think of David Bond? Someone showed me what he was doing not too long ago, and somebody actually encouraged me to like do a collaboration with him, and then I watched some of his videos, and I think that he's got himself a good little, operation going. He's got a what do they call that? A sales funnel that's pushing people his way. I think he's doing a little consultation. I think his content is a little contrived. I think he's paying for what he's shooting, and that's fine. If that's, I got a friend in Thailand who does a very similar thing, except he doesn't do it like he doesn't set himself up like the king of a harem kind of thing. Like that's not my bag. I don't want to portray Filipinas that way. Yeah, there's a lot of party Filipinas that'll party for money and say they're in your harem, and it looks fun, but I'm sure it's also a nightmare. I don't know if you know how long you've been watching the channel, but before I met her, my second girlfriend here, I was in a relationship with, wanted to marry, tried to adopt her daughter. She ended up getting into a relationship with a woman, and then that woman moved in with us, and then it was me and her. So we would go out, and the 2 girls would be like one on the side, one on the side, and they'd be like, "This is our boyfriend." I'm like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," and it was fun while it lasted. But it was no walk in the park. So I think that whenever you're doing anything that's exploitive like that, or like I'm not saying it's exploitive, but it feels like it is when I watch the videos, because I've lived here a long time, and I don't know any Filipinos that would do that for free. Like, he's paying for their plane tickets, he's paying for their hotel rooms, he's paying for their party favors, he's paying them probably straight up, which is fine if that's the kind of work they want. I got no problem with that. But don't portray Filipinas like that, because most Filipinos aren't like that. But more power to him. He's doing his thing. I don't think I'd do that. If I did something, it would be like what my friend Chad at CB Media does in Thailand. So Chad's like the car guy in Thailand. He's huge. He's fun. He's cool. He's here in Manila a couple months ago. We were partying, and he gave me some good tips. But one of the things, he showed me this one video. He's like, I took this girl. We did like this. They have this like 400 horsepower like racing boat thing that they do there. They have this long engine boats out on the water there, and what. And he had the hottest girl, like a cam girl, basically, with like giant like melons and like a low cut top. And he's like, she's a model, and I know she works at this club. And he's like, I had to go in there like 3 times. And he's like, look, I'll pay you 5,000 baht to be in the video. And this guy makes good money from sponsorships and YouTube and all kinds of stuff. So he's investing in models for his videos. And then he had a great video of her bouncing around in the, on the. It wasn't it wasn't an exploitive video. Obviously, it showed a beautiful woman and her melons in a boat. But he's an engine guy. He was talking about the engine. He was talking about the boat. She was just eye candy for the video. So he's hiring legit models to be in his videos, and it's not so much a sexual connotation as it is just like a eye candy, I guess. I never got as far as learning what kung fu system I wanted to look at. I was trying to nail down the ESL job, and then I thought when I got there, I would just ask, like, who has a studio here? Like, who is the nearest kung fu studio? Like, and can I go there? I didn't even know if they take me. Um, because I know that in Japan, where like I'm now, so I have a third degree nationally ranked black belt in Kempo karate, but and it's the lineage is solid. It's very solid. Like, this isn't a strip mall black belt. But I know if I went to Japan, I don't even think they would consider me a first degree black belt. Like, they might bust me back down to first degree brown belt. Like, they'd be like, sorry, you can't stay in the stance. You can't shift properly. Your punches are, out of alignment. Like, who knows? Like, they're the Japanese traditional karate training, not that Kempo is Japanese. It came from Japan, but it was rounded off for American street fighting. And I just know that they wouldn't consider me a black belt in Japan. And I go to other studios, like when we were competing and doing like inner what are they called? Like, just the sparring and I can't remember the word for it, but like we fight dudes that came in that like didn't know what we were up to, and they were in slow motion. Like, they look like they were in slow motion. I'd be like, wow, he does this, he does that. Wow, if I throw this, he throws that. Okay, so I'm gonna fake this, and then I'm gonna throw this one again. He does that. He was like immediately steps into the spinning rear kick in slow motion, fights over. It's like that wouldn't be happening to me in Japan. So I don't even know if I went into China and I said I know karate, they would like show me, and they would laugh at me probably. Uh, Thinking of moving and buying a condo. Uh, BGC or Rockwell, you're going to do both. You're going to do fine in both. For me, I'd probably go BGC. Um, I would never buy a condo here, not after lockdown. Watch my lockdown videos, you'll know why. But that's just me. I'm an American. There's the concept of my house, my place, my freedom, my joint. When I got a condo guard that's making 500 pesos a day, tell me I can't even go into my own house because my temperature is too high, and that my mom can't visit because there's no visitors, and the only reason my girlfriend can come in is because she's on a lease. No, my house is my house. It is not a prison that I have, that I have, you know, guards treating me like I'm a child that won't let me into the house. And then if you don't pass your temperature test, what do? They try you 3 times, and then they call the police on you, and then the police come and take you away and put you in quarantine for 2 weeks. No. On blocks Philippine viewers from seeing certain videos for obvious reasons. Yeah, it's somewhat. I mean, it has an exploitative connotation to it, and it definitely wasn't my vibe. And I can see why he would block viewers, because it's very possible somebody would get him deported for something like that. Like, what he's doing is bordering on not legal a little bit. Uh, I mean, technically, they're not. He's not making porn, so it's not like it's illegal. But like there's something there that's just a little off. But again, I got no problem with it. It working for him. If he's hiring Filipinos to work for him and they want to do the job, that's their business. Like, no judgment. Just not for me. My wife and I only are near Mall of Asia. If I were you, I would go Makati or BGC. I would not go near Mall of Asia. Although they do have some great, huge, wonderful new condos there. I don't want to live in. I wouldn't want to live in Pasay. I mean, I guess it's nice, you're on the water or whatever, but it's just too far out for me. Like, even though it's really not. Chad's cool. He's from your hometown. Awesome. I forget where he said he's from. I think he said he was from Atlanta or something. can't remember. Yeah, Chad was fun.
Who?
Chad, remember from Thailand? Tall.
Yeah, I met the HNJ.
It's all legal. Yeah, he's probably smart. Like you can see, he's running a business. Like he's not a dummy. He's got, like I said, he's got the sales funnel set up. He's got his website set up. He's got a streaming schedule going. He's definitely working his niche. Whenever we make it back over, our niece, yeah, and they're Southern Mindanao. Yeah, they have a lot of interesting fighting styles here. My first 4 years in Manila, I went for my combat Arnis black belt. It took me 4 years to get the black belt. Double stick fighting, knife fighting. I still practice. Never competed though. All right, it is an hour 49 in, guys. I think we're gonna pack it in for the night. It's already 11.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everyone being on the stream. I appreciate all the wonderful questions. I appreciate the
Thank you for the 35 million viewers.
Yes, 35 million viewers and the
Thumbs up.
185,000 Korean yen or whatever that was that you guys kicked in on the live stream. Appreciate that. I keep forgetting that you can do what they call member or supers on the live streams. So I do appreciate that.
There's guys. What is the
Oliver, next weekend, bro. Since you're there, of course I'll text you. But two things. I guess you got the Tagalog lessons today, and the other thing was the 27th. That's Halloween weekend. We got a guy coming in on the 27th. He wants to blow out, like he wants to do like a revel night and all kinds of stuff. We should talk about Halloween. It's usually one of the best parties of the year.
Don't delete, please.
Don't delete.
I'm late here. I will watch the video later. Don't.
Oh no, I won't. I won't delete it. I'll keep it up for a little while, a week or two, and then at some point, I usually end up making the videos members only. Interest. Yeah, you're right. One complaint and he's done, and that was the thing that with my ex, she had me over a barrel, like she let's just say at some point she had some issues and she made some threats, and I realized I'm like, wow, she could literally go to the police and lie and just have me deported, or at least put in jail. Like all she has to do, go in the kitchen, grab a knife, slice. He cut me up, he beat me up, and I'm in jail, like that. So, yeah, you don't want to mess around with Filipinos here. It's fine. It's one thing if you're visiting and you want to be a jerk, or you want to be a player, or you want to be a playboy, or you want to do your thing. Great, you're here, you're in town for a month, go wild. But if you live here, you gotta have some respect. You gotta have someone that's going to get your back.
There's one guy here said that what is the better way to contact you?
Contact me. All there are links in all the video descriptions except this one probably. Facebook, even though I only check it once or twice a week. Instagram, although if it comes in, I might only see it again after a week because it might be a secret request message. I have Twitter, believe it or not. I check that a couple times a week. Actually, my Twitter feed, I curate content that is the kind of thing that you guys probably want to be aware of. Not just because you're citizens of the world and that we're losing our freedoms and all that good stuff, but if you want to be traveling, if you want to be living abroad, if you want to understand how they're changing things to make this difficult for us, follow my Twitter feed, and you'll see what the hell's going on.
What is it? She looks a lot like the Blackfoot girls in Montana.
I do think she looks a lot like an American Indian, especially on the profile. Show them a little profile like this. See that? Yeah, it's like that American Indian face. Not too much Filipino nose. I like the nose. She hates it, but and the eyes too. They're not very Asian, if you know what I mean. Right.
Alien.
Like Tulfo could go out, and I have a story, and I told this story on one of JLB's live streams years ago. Jeff Lee Brown, if you're not watching him or know who he is, check him out on YouTube. I think it's called Fun Time with JLB or something. I also follow his Facebook page on my Facebook page. Not that my Facebook page is anything. Um, but I told the story of the girl that tried to scam me that ended up on Tulfo like 2 weeks later with her sister for scamming some other foreigner, and it was pretty wild. I Yeah, there's some crazy scams here. Crazy scams here. My girlfriend Morena Janita. She's definitely Morena.
Chinita, I
You're
would
not a
say.
Chinita. She's definitely not Chinita. There are some serious Chinita looking Filipinas here. And some of them are really cute, but definitely not her. If you haven't watched the video that I uploaded tonight, it's new on the channel. I premiered it tonight. Um, yeah, I feature a little bit of Nikki's bikini modeling in there. It's worth checking out. You think she looks good on the stream? Wait to see her in a bikini.
I'm joining premium membership tonight. Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
And trust me, Blackfoot shortest are hot. Sure.
Blackfoot shorties. I'm sure they are.
Blackfoot.
Yeah, I don't. I say the word white just because that's the term that people use, but I could substitute Caucasian. Let's just say that I don't date Caucasian women, and I haven't, since I moved to the Philippines. But even before I moved to the Philippines, I was just like, I don't want. I'm just not into it anymore. All right, guys, 2 hours in. Thank you again. It's like I feel like I never want to end it. I just want to keep talking, but I don't want it to get old. I want to keep it fresh. I want to try to get back. I want to try to do this twice a month, if not once a week. Again, I want to keep it fresh. So I'm glad Nikki's on. Nikki's back. She makes things a little more interesting. Gives us a little different kind of perspective. She takes questions too. So let's. God, I was gonna say next week, and then the week after is gonna be Halloween week. So let's see what happens Halloween week
Maybe we can do another next week live stream because the other
after the
week,
premiere.
yeah, because if we do it the next week, it's Halloween.
All right, so maybe I'll try to end the premieres with the whatever they do to the live stream. And I usually premiere Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. But I'm also thinking about uploading twice a week now. I just gotta get more videos up. YouTube's still killing me. It's taken me so long to get these videos approved. It's crazy. Guys, thanks for joining. I'm Eric, Nikki D. Message me. The links are in the description.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, all.